So welcome everybody at home to another episode of Wiki Weekends, a series where myself and my co-host Lucas Holland, who's off camera and off screen, say hello Lucas.
Hello Lucas.
Talk about things we find on the internet, specifically in wikis. And today I've gotten a wiki on one of my favourite video game series, Lucas, and one of my favourite characters from that series. And I'm going to give you a clue and see if you can guess who it is. Rawr.
I do know that reference, but it's a blank, like Sonic the Hedgehog.
No. King the Second.
Get ready for the next battle. Tekken 8. New challenger. King.
So today we're talking about the character of King from Tekken, specifically King the Second, because did you know, Lucas, that the King in more recent Tekken games is not the original King from Tekken 1 and 2?
Yeah, that's my question, because I know that King was two kings and then there's also Armor King, but is this the king that owns the orphanage?
This is the king that was in the orphanage and now runs the orphanage. So
right,
one of the reasons I love Tekken is because Tekken lore is an absolute clusterfuck, but it's so funny. For example, the character we're talking about today, King the Second, is the direct successor of a character called King from the first game. And King in the first game is friends with a character called Armor King who died. But it turns out there's another character called Armor King the Second, who's the original Armor King's brother. The lore is so dumb. The fact there's 4 characters in this series with the word King in their name, and they all know each other.
And if the King isn't ringing a bell, they are just the wrestler with, it's the Jaguar mask, I believe.
Yeah. He's just Jaguar wrestler man. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I love how early on with Tekken, it was unexplained. There was just a guy with a head that was a Jaguar head.
And only communicates through growls. And one thing I will always give Tekken props for over other fighting games is that Tekken has always had an incredibly diverse roster of characters that only gets more and more diverse as the series has gone on. For example, with the release of Tekken 8, there's a bunch of new characters in that who were from different regions of the world, and they asked the people making it why. It's there's all these different fighting styles and cultures around the world that are just fun to include in our video game. When you're thinking of we're making a fighting game, and how do you make an interesting character in a fighting game? Give them an interesting fighting style. So we look at other regions of the world where there's fighting styles that aren't often showcased in other fighting games, and by default your character is then more interesting.
Yeah, I do like the roster of Tekken, and the one that I saw people popping off for the new ones are this Silver Fox business daddy. Well,
he's French, and there's already a French character in the game of Lily. So she's already French, but he's just business. He's just John Wick, Jetstream Sam.
Soyons efficaces. Échec et mat.
And it's just so fucking cool. And one thing I love about Tekken as well is that all characters speak their native languages. And it's never explained how they understand each other. If you have, you have Paul Phoenix talking to, what's the character, who speaks a different language? Claudio, who's Italian. And they understand each other perfectly, despite the fact Paul Phoenix doesn't speak Italian. Look at that man. Does he speak Italian?
It's he might, whether or not he knows Italian or not, he certainly doesn't know, Jaguar man language.
That was the joke I'm going to make. That King speaks pandas, Jaguar.
Mokajin. What the fuck?
Wooden clicky language, yeah. And that's they all speak in their native languages. And I think you mentioned the cool French dude. His voice actor is a French actor, right? And they credit him fully in the trailer of we got this super handsome French dude in to voice our character. And there's a behind the scenes with him of doing all his voice lines. He looks so fucking cool.
Dispersion! Échec et mat. Dispersion! Appelez-moi Victor. Je n'aime pas mon nom de code.
Yeah, or I just saw people immediately being oh my god, this man.
Just French John Wick daddy, let's go. But Speaking of, bring it back to King, we have his basic biographical information here. So King, known as Kingu in Japan, is a title that 2 characters have taken in the Tekken series. And all that. It's not a name, it's a title. You earn the mantle of King. Even though there have been 2 characters who have taken the name, each is simply called King in their respective games, though numerical value is sometimes given to separate them as different characters. We're talking about the second King. And he's been the main King since Tekken 3. So since Tekken 3, King 2 has been King.
And that's the thing is, for me, just mostly out of nostalgia, Tekken 3 is like the Tekken for me.
It is, yeah. It's the one a lot of people play, and that's where King the second... That was like the game where they tried to revamp the roster. So the original King died, you've got King 2. The original Kuma died between games, you've now got Kuma 2. Heihachi Mishima, Kazuya is mysteriously missing, so you've got his son. Like, you get the Tekken kids in. Like, Wang Jinrei from the second one's gone. You have, like, his granddaughter, Ling Xiaoyu.
Yeah, I don't... Like, Tekken 3 was my first one, so I don't know how people, really cared at the time, but, it seems as though people fondly remember that, whereas, for example, when they did it with, Soul Calibur, people were like, no, just give us the classic characters. We don't care about these newbies.
Is that all the characters they replaced the new ones with were annoying and had the exact same fighting style? So it's just, why not just put the old characters in? Whereas, King 2 has new moves. And obviously that's the game's just getting, more technically proficient, so they can put more moves in. But one of the ways they've always differentiated, the Tekken kids, or, people who take on the mantle of another character, is by giving them new moves. They have, the same bones of their fighting style. They have things that differentiate them and make them fun. And for example, King and Armor King ostensibly should have the same fighting style because they learn from the same person, the original Armor King. But the Armor King fights more aggressively, whereas King fights more technically. So even though they're ostensibly the same character, they've got the same fighting style, they have their own version of it.
As you might expect of a pro wrestler, Armor King has a very strong throw game, though not quite as strong as King's. So, whereas King is more of a specialist character, Armor King is more well-rounded, with a complete kit of basic, generic poking tools to complement his powerful throws.
Same like the Mishimas, like Heihachi and Kazuya and Jin, all ostensibly have the same root fighting style, but they all fight differently and are distinct because of it. As of today, there is a new member of the Mishima bloodline.
Oh, not again!
There's another one. The thing is though, Lucas, but it's not a Lars, it's not a Jin, it's a hot girl who's just wearing purple, who shoots lightning out of her fists, and she's just Heihachi's illegitimate daughter or something like that. I know that's not been confirmed, but it's so obvious that it is.
I hated the thing of Lars being he's the new main character that's got nothing to do with the Mishima family. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's then he secretly becomes a Mishima, and it's
I think
give it up.
My one problem with Tekken is the fact that they keep focusing on the Jin storyline. It's Jin is so he's the most boring character in the entire series. I hate that they keep focusing on Jin. It's when there's so many other Law and Paul. I fucking love Law and Paul. They're great, and the fact that they keep pushing. But don't you love Jin? No, yeah. Jin sucks. He's the worst character. He was good in Tekken 3, and he's good in Tekken 4 when he's trying to unlearn Mishima fighting style. But when he just becomes CEO, I'm not going to root for a billionaire. I'm not going to do it. Fuck you. I'm going to root for King. But what do you know about King, though, Lucas? Do you know his full name?
I have no clue what his name is. No.
Well, his name is King. He has no name. Are you ready for some band names? Because do you want to know what his nicknames are?
I mean, I presume one of them is the King of Iron Fist.
No, I don't think he's never won the tournament.
He's never won. Oh.
But his name is Anger of Beast.
Ooh,
That's his theme
that's
song
good.
name. So King's theme song's called Anger of Beast. He's also known as the Silent Jaguar.
Oh, yes.
And
I
here's where we
want to
go, the
listen to
origin.
the Silent Jaguar.
Mexico. Height 6'7".
Ooh.
Weight 90 kilos in Tekken 3. 147 kilos in Tekken 8. Man has packed on some pounds.
Fuck me.
He's put on 60 kilos of muscle and about a foot of height.
He's like close to doubled his weight.
Well, that's because in
Jesus Christ.
Tekken 3 he was like 6'3", because they say he was still growing. He had a growth spurt between games. And then we have his likes and his dislikes. So his likes are his predecessor, King the First, celebrating victory with Armor King, his former enemy, Craig Marduk. And then he dislikes Tears of Children. And keep that in mind, he dislikes the Tears of Children, who is a 6'7" man in a Jaguar mask.
That'd make anyone happy, right?
Ogre and Craig Marduk from Tekken 4 to Tekken 5.
Like, is King specifically got a beef with Ogre, or has everyone just got
Everyone
a
has
beef
a,
with Ogre?
and we can get to that in a moment. It's in his biography. But Ogre is basically one of the most important characters in Tekken, and they were all the way back in Tekken 3. But then we have his occupation is pro wrestler and manager of an orphanage, and his hobby is making children happy.
The most wholesome hobby.
That's what I love about Tekken characters, where they're so dumb. Like this, I should point out, it's based on a real story. There's a guy out there, he's called Frey Tormentor. I believe he's still alive. He was a real live wrestling luchador priest who did it to provide money for an orphanage. And it's annoying that people, when you say, "Oh, you mean like Jack Black's Lucha Libre?" And so, well, yeah, that sucks. But you could say King. And if I was that guy, I'd rather be represented by the King character in Tekken than that fucking shitty Jack Black movie. But biography. The second king was a street urchin who was brought up by the first king in his orphanage. Until the age of 24, he worked hard until king. One day, news broke of the first king's death. Sensing that the orphanage would crumble into ruin, the money from King's wrestling matches were the only funding it received, he donned the mask of King and imitated his style. Unfortunately, he had only seen King's wrestling moves as a child, until Armor King, an old friend of the original King, felt obligated to train the orphan to master the style of the original King. And the thing is, that all sounds so dumb, but it's so anime as well, and I love it.
I would really have enjoyed seeing like the moveset of teenage King that has only seen the moves and not been taught them.
Well, that's him in Tekken 3. So that's the young King in Tekken 3. And they say that between Tekken 3 and Tekken 4, basically, the story of Tekken 3 is he gets his ass kicked. But, Armor King takes notice. Armor King was, friends with the original King, and he gets really fucking pissed off. He gets super pissed off. Like, someone's taken the mantle of King, my friend, and they're shit. And he finds out it's an orphan who was raised in the orphanage, and he trains him. And then between games, Armor King dies in a fist fight with Craig Marduk.
Armor King was murdered. King swore upon Armor King's grave that he would seek revenge against the man responsible for his mentor's death.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Craig Marduk kills him in a fist fight, and what King does is he pays to get him out of prison.
With his plans in motion, King headed for the tournament to await his sworn enemy, the Vale Tudo fighter.
To fight him in the wrestling match, to kill him in the King of Iron Fist tournament, and then realise he has a parent, and just swears off revenge. But then, between Tekken 4 and 5, a new mysterious man called Armor King appears out of nowhere. It's like, but Armor King died. And it turns out that Armor King had a secret twin brother no one knew about, also called Armor King.
Oh, I love how dumb Tekken
It's
gets.
and my favourite is you learn it because, like, King, and it's great because the cutscene's just a man in a Jaguar mask, and he looks at a picture of Armor King, and then the picture frame breaks, and you fold it out, and there's another Armor
I
King.
forgot about that.
Do we say here, feeling the time was right, the original Armor King told King how King had died at the hands of Ogre. And that's how he died. So if people don't know, Ogre is a mythological figure in the Tekken universe who is known as the God of Fighting. The God of Fighting. And what he does, between the events of Tekken 2 and Tekken 3, Ogre comes into being, fueled by all the fighting taking place, and kills a bunch of, like, Tekken men. Like, kills. Straight up kills. He kills Michelle Chang, he kills King, and he kills a bunch of other characters as well. And he learns their fighting styles.
And I really enjoy that as a sense of both a way to refresh the roster and to build up the new antagonist.
And also as well, like, you know, give those characters, like, the legacy of, like, the original King was so fucking good. The god of all combat rose to the earth and King fought him. King had a fight to the death with a god and nearly pulled it off.
And it's one of those weird things then of, like, they make Ogre, who's, like, I think quite a cool design and stuff, and then, like, true Ogre just comes out and it's like,
But then we have, like, personality. King is a complex young man capable of great emotion, ranging from murderous revenge to selfless love. Initially, he takes on his priest and orphanage carer's role as a masked luchador in order to continue to support the orphanage he grew up in. He forms a deep friendship with his mentor, Armor King, who is described as his foster father. When Armor King tells of how King and how his predecessor died, he becomes motivated by revenge. And that's the one. It's just so good. It's just the thing of, like, just the idea of, like, 6'7" orphan wrestling Jaguar man. And it makes perfect sense, and he's friends with a kangaroo.
Yeah, good old Roger, who is also based on a true story of the kangaroo's wife cheated on him at home.
Oh yeah, that's the thing, yeah. And keep in mind as well that Roger, the kangaroo, he has a son called Roger Jr. Don't forget that. And the little baby kangaroo fights in its mother's pouch. And he's like, you look at that and you go, that's fine. That's perfect, yeah, I'll take that. And he fights a dinosaur.
Yeah, Gon, also a true story.
Yeah, Gon's in there, but he's like more of a side character. But so, who's your favourite then? And I'm not. You've got to say a main. Who's your favourite character from Tekken? Who's not one of the main Mishimas? And I'd say anyone who says like Jin, Lars, Kazuya, or Heihachi is their favourite character. It's like, I'm going to stop talking to you because you just don't like fun.
I always say Horang just because he was my favourite to main.
He's
like in terms of like. In terms of playing style, like Harang's just like up there for me.
Well, that's another one. Bake from Tekken 2. He dies. I believe he's killed by Armor King as well. Oh, he's killed by Ogre, which is the same way the original King is.
Killed by Armor King. Just Armor King going on a tear.
Well, there's a great detail as well in the new Tekken. Harang is in Tekken 8. A neat detail is between the events of the last few games, he's earned his 4th Dan Black Belt, which means he's finally surpassed Bake.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Bake, I think, was 3rd Dan, so now Hwoarang has finally surpassed his master.
And it's like, it's one of those things that I get very frustrated with Hwoarang because I really like the simplistic design in 3 with just the gi. And then he goes into like all the weird like street combat gear and stuff.
We could talk about Tekken has such good characters that are so distinct, but then they kept like the designs got way too busy for like Tekken 7 and Tekken 8. Some of them are a bit busy, but they all have classic costumes. So I'm probably going to be wearing like Hwoarang's classic costume in every outfit, like every fight that I use him in. That's one of the reasons I stopped liking like Jin, because I hated like I think Jin's peak look was Tekken 4, and people don't like Tekken 4, but I think the look of the hoodie was really cool because I was like 14 when that game came out. Same with like Hwoarang. I'm saying Hwoarang and Hwoarang because I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'll pronounce them both wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like I just have gone with the pronunciation that like 8-year-old me went with.
Or what they say in the game, and they change how they say it in the game anyway.
Because it's like Hwoarang.
But have you ever seen what he looked like in Tekken 4, Hwoarang?
He's got like the motorcycle gear, right?
Yeah, but his all the costume is like he cuts his hair short because he's Korean and he had to go into compulsory military service. And they say he abandons the military to go fight in the King of Iron Fist tournament to beat up Jin. And like his look is he's wearing like military fatigues and it looks super fucking cool. Again, remember I was 14 when this game came out.
Yeah,
so.
see, like that's anything with camo on it, I immediately hate the design.
But because I was 14, Lucas.
Oh no, yeah. Like I think I prefer just like the regular
The
Tekken
gi
4
is so
outfit
good,
to that
yeah.
one. But the gi is just the one. Like it's again, like some of those Tekken designs just so much better when they just stayed simple.
It's like like Ryu. And like they can do whatever they want to that design. Like the simpler it is, and that's the thing. For me, the simpler the design is, the more confident the people making it are in its like it being iconic. The busier the outfit looks, to me, it just says, well, you don't have faith that the character alone is like iconic enough to be memorable. You can always bullshit, and it's why I think like one of Jin's best designs is the one inspired by Jun, his mum, where it's just like the white pants with the black like flames or lightning going up the side. Because it looks like Jun's outfit.
And that's the thing is, like, I know a lot of my love for Tekken 3 probably is nostalgia, but I do stand up for, like, the character designs in that game. Like,
yeah, just like the white
They
pants.
are so much better than a lot of the modern versions of those characters.
Have you seen like Jun's back?
Oh, Jun's back. Not as a
she's
bullshit
back. She's not
enemy
been
this
playable
time.
for 27 years. In a mainline
Not as,
Tekken
like,
game,
a
at least.
bullshit god that you can't fucking kill at the end and just spams you with shitty
Yeah,
attacks.
she's back and she's got moves from unknown.
まさか生きていたのか。
和也さん
Oh, God,
She got some
no.
new. But the thing is that Joe my main's gonna be, and it's for the dumbest reason ever. It's the newcomer, As Yusenya, and we're speaking earlier. I think it's As Yusenya. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And again, speaking about the diversity, she's from Peru. Speaks like presumably it's Peruvian. And
Is this the one that talks shit and drinks coffee?
yes, and the reason
Yeah, I've
I
heard about
love
this,
that
yeah.
character is one, because her fighting style looks really fun. I like in fighting games characters with parries or defensive moves because they're just they feel like they're more frustrating to fight against, and there's nothing more satisfying than pulling off a parry. Pulling off a parry in a fighting game always feels like so fucking dope.
I mean, that's true, but when we're speaking about, like, frustrating to fight against, you can't talk about that and Tekken and not say Eddie Gordo.
The thing is, Eddie's really easy to beat. Like,
He is.
He's the noob slayer because he goes high and low, but once you understand how to fight him, he's a piece of piss.
Yeah, but when you're, like, 10 years old and fighting your mates, and you pick Eddie and you button mash to hell and no one knows what to do.
It's always a tactical low, but fun. You just block low and you can basically beat everything Eddie does. But the reason I love this character is because she just dances, and it's more because of her ultimate where she just kicks you really hard and then brings out her own branded coffee cup and is like, drink coffee! And apparently her official backstory on the Tekken website is she just joins the King of Iron Fist tournament to shill coffee. That's it. She's like, I don't care if I lose, I just need to shill my family's coffee because we make good coffee.
¿Tienes café? ¿Necesitas más café? El café es lo mejor.
There are some fighting games where I love, like, the actual, like, stories behind why, like, I can't remember his name now, but there's the luchador fighter from Street Fighter 4.
Oh, he just wants to cook, yeah.
And he literally just wants to go and wrestle all of these people in different parts of the world so he can go and cook and learn to be the best chef. And I'm
He's a
like,
shit chef, yeah.
it's such a cool, like, motivation to join the Street Fighter tournament.
That's it. The stupider your motivation is, the more likely I am to love you as a fighting game character. Like I said, like, as you said, just all she wants to do is like shill coffee. And as I said, like her theme song is probably the hardest Tekken has gone in a while. Like they've not gone this
really?
hard since like Moonlight Wilderness, where like it just starts like it's like little jazzy dance music. Then the Andean pan flutes come in. And there's this amazing video someone out there made of like, because half of her moveset is dancing. So what they've done is they've got 2 people playing the game and do her full dance routine alongside her theme song.
Oh,
it's just, that's it.
Final round. Fight.
Fácil. Uno, dos, tres. ¡Qué tierno! ¡Yahoo! ¡Ole! Yup.
that's cool.
There's now a push of like, if you main this character like I'm going to, you've got to learn this dance. You have to learn this entire like thing. And if you ever do a mirror match, you have to do that before the fight starts.
Oh god, I love that as well. Like the respect.
The respect. Yes, I play Yoshimitsu. 'Cause I like my usual thing for playing a fighting game character is they have to be either the worst character in the game or incredibly difficult to play, so that winning with them feels like an achievement. And Yoshimitsu has been my main in every Tekken game. And he's also in Soul Calibur, where he's also one of the hardest characters to use. And there is like this just thing of, in Soul Calibur, if you main Yoshimitsu and you come against another Yoshimitsu, you go into Indian stance and just do the prayer, just the respect, the Yoshimitsu respect.
Alright. Battle 1. Yoshimirist. Let's get it. Oh, forgive me, of course. I gotta do it.
Hey! Yo, this community.
Right.
So that is one character that obviously we're not talking about today, really. But
I
like,
fucking love Yoshimitsu.
Is Yoshimitsu in Tekken canon, in Tekken lore, like one character?
He's one dude, yeah. But Yoshimitsu is the name of the sword, not the character. But whoever holds the sword becomes known as Yoshimitsu. But it's the same guy from Tekken 1 all the way through to Tekken 8. It's the same guy.
But they have a very distinct redesign in every single game they're in.
But, and for anyone wondering, like, Yoshimitsu is 100% human, save for, I think it's his right arm that gets removed after Tekken 2, which gets replaced by a robotic one by Dr. Boskanovich.
And yeah, like, I mean, obviously, again, Tekken 3, it's like, the Yoshimitsu design is like, it's pretty cool. Like, it's one of my more favoured ones, but there's a lot of cool different Yoshimitsus, but just the laser sword always got me as a kid.
That's why it sucks that Tekken 4 is like the red-headed stepchild of Tekken, because Yoshimitsu's design in Tekken 4 is he's just a weird bug ninja with a skeleton face and a laser sword. It's like, that's so dumb! I was 14 when this game came out.
Exactly.
It's like peak like time for me to get into that game. It's like, I'm the same way now. Of, like, when I see a character who's just like, obviously when I was 14, edgy character. So Yoshimitsu, the guy with the sword, or like, you know, just Harang, because like he's the cool teenage, like the aloof, edgy one. But now I'm older. Like, I'm in my 30s now, and I saw like Azuzena. It was like, she looks so annoying to fight against. I love her. I can't wait. Just be literally dancing on my opponent.
¡Cham! Soy la reina del café.
Just style on them.
Is that when me and our mutual friend Joe, like every week we'd play Tekken Tag 2, and I main Dr. Boskanovich.
Oh,
just because all you can do is just sit down and just fly across the screen and do ass slide infinites.
You scared? What are you scared for? It's a fucking 100-year-old man in a lab coat. But he's full of piss and vinegar. Let's go! Boom! Ha ha ha!
Just fucking fart on your opponent.
It's the last thing, the more annoying the character is to play against, the more fun they are for me to play. That's why I played Yoshimitsu in Soul Calibur, because he had a move where he could literally just like, he stabbed himself in the stomach, took off half his own health, then just does like, do you know the Emperor in like the prequel trilogy where from, like, he's lying on the floor.
The twirl.
Like, Yoshimitsu can do that.
And yeah, that's the thing is like, Yoshimitsu is frustrated to fight against, and then like you got characters like Boskanovich and Gon, where they're like low the entire time.
Gon's not fun because he's broken as fuck. Like, Tekken has so many interesting, weird characters. Like, and King is one of those weird characters to play because he's a grappler, and he's one of the few grapplers they've ever had. Where like most fighting games will have like the wrestling archetype, and they'll probably have like, you know, a power bomb or something. Like, you know, you got Zangief, he has like, his pile driver.
Yes.
But that's like one move. King has like chain throws.
Yeah.
As we have here. So gameplay, King is a character that has more of a defensive approach rather than a full-blown offensive one. Despite popular beliefs, like people think he's really aggressive, but he's more about like he's very powerful, very slow, but he's about like picking apart your opponent's defenses. King has to be played very carefully since he has limited range and is overall very unsafe. He relies on quick strikes, good movements, and a very good view of punishing the opponent. And that's the thing I love about playing King as well, because he feels like playing a wrestler. Well, like he's just like you got to wait for your opponent to make a mistake and capitalize on it.
Yeah, because like I've never really managed with King's playstyle, but I remember just like being at yours once when you were in like doing the practice combos with King and just watching you do like those chain grapples, and it's like, oh yeah, this is how like a wrestler in a fighting game should play.
I also love as well that as the series has gone on, they've lent more into the fact that he's a professional wrestler and Lucha Libre, so he celebrates, like he plays to the crowd, like he cuts like he's got a microphone in Tekken 8. He's talking to the crowd before he kicks your ass. It's great.
What does he say? He's just growling.
Well, everyone, that's the thing though. That's scary. Growl, growl. Thank you, King. And that's what I love. Like he just growls and everyone's like, "Yes, King."
Yes.
It's the same with like Kuma. We see like Kuma is like wearing Heihachi's gi now, and Kuma's got Heihachi's moveset. Have you seen that?
These are the fists of a champion.
No, I like that's the thing. I've been really quiet on Tekken 8 because they showed off like the initial like roster to begin with, and I was like, well, these all look awful. I'm not very interested. But hearing you talk about Tekken 8, I'm like, okay, maybe I should go like look at some of those trailers. And I do want to play the game.
The thing with Tekken is like just ignore everything about the main storyline. Just play lore. Like I think I can't stand Jin's storyline, and that's why I never play the story modes. Like, I play arcade mode. I want to know what is Lore up to, what is Paul Phoenix up to, what's like even Dragunov, who's like again a really edgy character. At least he has a fun, and interesting story. It's not just the Mishima bloodlines. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, the Mishima stuff was like interesting when it was very simple of just like, there's a father and a son that want to throw each other into volcanoes. That's dumb fun.
Yeah.
But the point that it's got onto now is the least interesting part, I agree.
Yeah. I will say, like, besides King, because I don't play much King, but I think he's one of my favourite characters. The other character I really like is Jack. Have you seen Jack in the new one? Where Jack's just now a fucking warrior. Because, like, the thing is, like, Jack the robot, and he's just like, but basically, the ending bit of his trailer gave me goosebumps because like he just opens up and you just see these like human eyes and he's so mad. It's like, why is Jack so mad?
How many Jacks have we had? That's the question.
The Jack 8.
Oh, it's just a new one every time.
Yeah, he's got a railgun now as well.
Of course.
You know what? We can talk more about Tekken because it comes out in about 2 months. So expect more Tekken content. So subscribe for more Tekken content because we're about to run out of time for recording purposes. But hot damn, do I love me some Tekken. I love me some King. Love me some Jack. Love me some every character except for the Mishimas. Which doesn't include Lee because he's adopted. And Lee's awesome. He's like the one like part of that Mishima family I like. Just do the excellent. Two scenes where Lee now, his super move, he throws a grenade, but the grenade explodes into like a rose petal.
Oh,
because that man's just brand into the core. Oh, Tekken.